Hey guys, Tori here from Overlook Horizon. Hopefully you can hear me all right, as opposed to the last time we started this up, but we're live. I think we're good to go today, and SpaceX appears to be good to go. So welcome to Fogwatch 2021, because we have a gorgeous picture for you today, and it looks something like this. You might mistake this for like just a gray wall. Maybe you think it's a color calibration square for my camera. No, this is a live picture from Boca Chica, Texas, and there's not a lot happening down there. There's a lot happening, but we just can't see it. We can't see anything. We see nothing right now. So yeah, it looks something like this. Hopefully that's gonna clear up, but just in case it doesn't, don't worry. We've got you covered. One of our awesome moderators, Sevi, the time waster, has got us covered here with gorgeous animation. He spent all night. We knew it was going to be foggy, so he spent all night putting this animation together so that at least we can show you something. And so here we go, right there. Perfect. We got it. There's where the Starship is. And this is all we need. What else do we need here? We got it. We're good to go. I don't know what's happening here. So hopefully we can see something today, because this is all we've got. So Starship is out there somewhere. So I am told that SpaceX is still on track for a launch this morning of about 8 a.m. Central Time, which is in only about 13 minutes from now. So we should hopefully see something better, maybe better than this. Maybe the engine exhaust will burn off the fog. That would be fantastic. But yes, we're expecting SpaceX to be live here any second. So let me run through what we've got going on here today. Weather is actually looking pretty good, despite the fog. Other than the fog, that's really the main concern. But as far as our other typical weather concerns, let's get rid of our Starship. This will be the Bellyflop animation. Now you're looking at top-down Bellyflop animation. Yeah, okay, get rid of that. So we're looking okay everywhere else weather-wise. We've got 10-mile-per-hour ground level winds. Our upper level winds are a little bit quicker, but not too bad, 60 mile per hour. Somebody have to convert that to metric for me. But winds look to be relatively acceptable here. Our satellite view, we're not going to really see too much, but obviously we've got a lot of clouds. But radar, precipitation looking okay. I think we're in good shape there. But usually it's the winds that would be the most concerning. But obviously today, that's not the case. It's really going to be fog. So here, we'll put our Starship back up. Okay, so let's see. Let me show you what else we're looking at here. We'll get rid of Starship. I love that drawing. Time waster, you're the best. So if you haven't watched one of these before, this is a test flight. We're not going to see anything go into actual orbit here. It's just kind of up and down, but hopefully we get a landing today. We had a successful landing for Starship SN10, but as you all probably know, about 8 minutes later, she went kaboom. From obviously a hard landing, lost a little bit of thrust. They had a little bit of a it sounded like helium bubbles get into the actual engine itself, reduce some of the thrust, came in a little hot, touchdown, sheared off the legs, bounced a little bit on the landing. So hopefully we can kind of smooth that out here today, but pretty much straight up, straight down. We're gonna go up, belly flop. They will do the normal engine cutoffs as they're ascending, so we'll see the engines cut off as it ascends. It'll do the belly flop, come back down, and then I think we're gonna get maybe a 2-engine landing burn instead of a single engine. So last time they lit 3, went down to 2 for the actual flip, and then single engine for the actual landing. But I think we may do 2, maybe even 3 engine landing burn itself. So, and just try to throttle them all the way down. So that's our flight profile today, courtesy of my friend Declan over at flightclub.io. So pretty much straight up, straight down, 10 kilometers in altitude. What else do we want to show you here? I did also have the the telemetry, the actual 2D telemetry here. Let's get rid of the events list here just for a moment. And then I see like, who's that? Wilkie with the super chat. I'll get to your super chats here in just a minute. Give me just a second. I wanted to run through this because SpaceX may be going live any second here now. But anyways, here's our 2D, and really just the events that I wanted to point out here today is kind of where these orange dots are here during the ascent profile. That's where our engine cutoffs are. So we'll get one engine cutoff, we'll run on 2 engines, then we'll get another engine cutoff, we'll run on a single engine up to here where it kind of does a little bit of a hover. Then you get the final engine cutoff, the big belly flop, and then our landing there as well. So that's what we got in store here for the beautiful Cloud Watch or Fog Watch 2021. Let's get our Starship back up. Right there it is. You can see it, clear as day. I don't know what's everybody complaining about. Come on. All right, let me. Budget Arms? How will SpaceX go live when they have so much fog? Well, you just turn a camera on. Piece of cake. Fog doesn't affect cameras. You just can't see it. All right, let me go back. I saw a couple of super chats. We'll grab those here real quick, and then we'll grab a couple other comments, and we'll see what's happening with everybody this morning while we stare at the fog. Isn't this riveting? Let's see. I can't. Let me see where they are. Axel Perez. I have no idea what that says, Axel Perez, but thanks for the super chats. That doesn't look like it's in English, so I can't read that, but thank you very much. I recognize the sunglasses, so thanks for that. Appreciate your support there, Axel. Mike, my favorite super chat. Mike. It's not hump day yet, but tomorrow will be hump day. Mike says, hi, Tori, it's a pleasure to watch your live stream. Well, Mike, I'm glad you're here. It's my favorite YouTube username, Mike. Let's see. All right, there's a Wilkie Barkid. If a Starship ruds in the fog and we can't see it, does it really rud? Good question. It's like one of those, if a tree falls in the forest, does it make a sound? If a Starship ruds in the fog and we can't see it, is it really a rud? An RUD, Rapid Unscheduled Disassembly, for those that aren't in the acronym club. Yeah, good question. I think you could probably, I'm sure the FAA inspector won't even notice if they ruds in the fog. Probably be no big deal. They just continue on. Speaking of the FAA inspector is there. So, we should be in good shape in that regard. Talk about that in a second. Caesar Anitas, thank you very much for the super chat. Caesar, one of our regulars, thank you very much. Appreciate your support. Yeah, so we had a launch attempt on Friday. What seemed like a launch attempt on Friday, but it appears that they had some trouble with the flight termination system. They spent a lot of time working on the flight termination system on Friday. And it seemed like they pushed that off a little bit. So the FAA inspector, I'm going to switch up my music to something a little more chill and not so bumping here. So the FAA inspector was told on Friday that they were not going to launch on Monday. Remember, this is spring break week. There's lots of beaches down there in Boca Chica. They're not super keen to close down the beach that often, especially on weekends. But also, this is, spring break week. They want to try to keep the beaches open a little bit. But they told the inspector that they were not gonna, that they couldn't get road closures on Monday, meaning yesterday. So they said, you know what? We're not gonna launch on Monday. Inspector went, okay, you let me know when you're gonna launch. I'm gonna go home and see my family. So he left, went back to Florida. Inspector's based in Florida, where rockets are. Lots of rockets. I mean, Texas is relatively new for rockets, but a lot of rockets happen in Florida. So, inspector went back to Florida, and then there's a little bit of a report on that they tried to get him back by sending him an email. He didn't check his email. It's a weekend. He was like, you know what? I'm checked out. You'll let me know. They're going to fly next week. It's not going to be Monday, so I'll check the email later on. He didn't check his email. They were trying to get him back. They finally got a hold of him late Sunday night. And, SpaceX is live. Holy smokes. get out of here. So here, we don't even need the Starship there. So the inspector, they finally got a hold of the inspector Sunday night, tried to bring him back out. They could not. Yeah, they couldn't get there in time. So they had to scrub yesterday's, and now they're on for today, despite the fog, which is kind of crazy. It does seem like they're going to push forward with this, and now they're live. So now this is the real deal here. Make sure we got some volume up, and we'll be ready to go here in just a minute. Let's close our fog cam. Close that. Close that. I want to make sure we get rid of some of these windows that we do not need. So we have all resources applied to our feed here today, so we don't mess anything up. And we'll get rid of that one. Okay. So yeah, of course everybody upset with the FAA inspector, but guy wanted to go home, see his family. No big deal. And they told him to go home, so. All right, so yeah, looks like we're going now. I was kind of put this together in a hurry today because I wasn't oh, there they are. There it is. Oh, and we're almost right on the money for our timeline here.
In the fog is SpaceX's Starship test vehicle number 11. It was just over 3 weeks ago we launched number 10 from the adjacent pad at the Starbase facility in Cameron County, Texas. For today's test, we are counting down to launch of Starship number 11 to a 10-kilometer altitude in just under 4 minutes from now. Now, as with our last test, today's flight is to gather data on using flaps to control Starship as it descends back to the landing pad.
Here we go.
Before lighting its Raptor engines for touchdown. Now, we're going to do our best to find a camera view for the webcast, but as you can see, fog is everywhere at Starbase in Texas.
I got you, John. Here you go. There's Starship. It's right there. It's perfect. We can see it. What's the problem? Starship is right there. I can see it. Oh, man. Okay, well, as you can see, there's nothing, according to Fritz 46. Okay, yep, so why are they using cameras from 1993? This is a nice camera. It's the fact that it's foggy there. Yeah, all right, well, holy smokes, they're only 2 minutes away. All right, well, we also have our Flight Club telemetry here today. And I still can't believe that they're this close in the countdown with the fog like this. Like, this is incredible. We're not going to see anything. We're going to see nothing. They're only 2 minutes away. Oh, no. How are they going to do this? See, now this is, I guess the concern would be, remember all the camera views that we see, like they're nice to see, but they're primarily engineering cameras. Like the engineering crew and the ground controllers want to see the Starship.
T-minus 2 minutes and counting. We have completed propellant loading, both the methane fuel and the liquid oxygen on board Starship test vehicle number 11.
So those cameras are mostly engineering cameras so that they can see exactly what's happening with the vehicle. They can, you could trigger flight termination if you needed to. I don't know if they ever really plan to trigger manual flight termination, but I think they have to have that capability. And also, if something happens to the flight, your engineers can go back to the footage and see the vehicle to help with diagnosing any potential issues. So this is interesting. This is something. We're 1 minute away. What? We're gonna kill the music here. This is, as Dan says, this is the best launch I've never seen. Oh man.
T-minus 1 minute.
We're at 1 minute. I know I'm blocking the clock, but I also put it up over there above my Starship with the fuel. So the flight club telemetry that we have there, simulated telemetry.
T-minus 42 seconds. We're counting down We are retracting the quick disconnect from the vehicle in preparation for launch in just over 30 seconds from now.
Oh my goodness. So that's simulated telemetry. It's not real, but it's pretty
Right,
darn
30 seconds.
pretty darn close. The Starship there is going to show you how much fuel is in the tanks. The 3 dots at the bottom shows you which engines are on. Oh. Hold on.
Good prevo cycles.
There we go. I'll show you what the engines that are on, and then we've got, of course, altitude, velocity.
10, 9, 8,
Oh, here we
7,
go. Here we
6,
go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh! It's... Is it flying? It's happening! Something's happening! What? Oh my goodness, this is awesome. Oh, it's going. I see movement in the background. Woo! What
T
is it?
plus
What is
33
that? Inside?
seconds.
Oh, look
Starship
at that.
test vehicle number 11 ascending over Starbase in South Texas.
1 kilometer altitude.
Get out of here. I can't believe they launched it. Oh, go, baby, go.
We've heard the call out. We're over 1 kilometer up. Views from the external camera on Starship number 11 looking back towards the Starbase facility in the fog in South Texas.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Looking good so far. This is the best view right here. We can't really see it from the outside, but that view looks fantastic. This view looks fantastic. Here we go. 2 kilometers up. Can't even see the ground. I'm pretty sure that's just all fog that we're seeing. Can't really hear it. I wish the ambient sound could go a little bit louder. I got it as loud as it'll go.
Four kilometers altitude.
4 kilometers, so our flight club telemetry is
T plus 2
just a
minutes. We're
touch
getting
off.
ready to shut down the first of the 3 Raptor engines.
There we go. So we should be coming up on. There we go. There's shutdown of the first engine. So we got 1 engine out. That's
T
planned.
plus 2 minutes, 21 seconds. You can see we have shut down the first of the 3 engines on time as planned.
That's expected. So now they're going to step down the engines here, reduce a little bit of thrust because they don't want to coast up to apogee, to that 10 kilometers. They actually want to do it under powered flight. So they have full control of the vehicle. They can use the engines to actually control it, to manipulate it around, move it around. So they're going to stay under powered flight all the way up to that 10 kilometer mark. Oh man, I didn't even have, the Monkey DKS says, didn't even have time to get nervous. I'm the same way. Like this it feels like it just, like boom, we just went for it.
T plus 3 minutes, continuing to climb on power of 2 engines. We're past 8 kilometers.
Here we go. Oh man, Declan with the Flight Club telemetry. This is on the money today. What do we think? Tell me in chat. You think it's going to land? Oh, there we go. There's second engine out. So now we're under single engine. Those other 2 engines gimbal out of the way. Uh-oh.
T plus
Lost
3.5
camera.
minutes. You can see with the camera view we have shut down the second of the 3 engines as planned. We're now slowly climbing to the final 10 kilometer altitude on the power of the single Raptor engine. Once we're at apogee, we'll hover shortly,
We got nothing.
shut down the engine as we flip over, and then descend back towards the landing pad at Starbase.
We just have black screen and seagulls.
10 kilometers altitude.
Coming up at T plus 4 minutes, we're at 10 kilometers altitude, and we are getting dropouts on the camera, but we continue to get telemetry from the Starbase, from the Starship vehicle.
Remember, that's not, the telemetry we're showing is not their telemetry. That's just simulated. Nomadic says this is
While
Elon.
we're waiting to reestablish video connection with the vehicle, we have shut down the third of the 3 Raptor engines as planned.
So it's belly
Now
flopping.
beginning the horizontal maneuver back down to the landing pad.
Okay.
Starbase facilities. As we get close to land, we will ignite the 3 Raptor engines, flip to vertical, and then land on the thrust of a single Raptor engine.
All right, it's coming down.
Plus 4
Here
minutes,
it
40
is.
seconds and counting, and it looks like we've got some camera views back again.
Yeah, not really, John, but it's there. It's coming down. There we go. Okay, we're belly flopping. Here we go.
6 kilometers altitude.
All right, here we go. We're coming down now.
T plus 5 minutes. We're passing through 5 kilometers. A nice view from the exterior camera showing one of the flaps on the
Downrange,
Starship
cross-range
test
control,
vehicle number
airport
11.
Here it comes. Oh boy, come on, land it. We're not even going to see if it lands. I guess we'll see if it goes kaboom.
2 kilometers altitude.
Here we go, coming down. We're pretty much at terminal velocity at this point.
1 kilometer altitude.
T plus 545.
There's
We've
the
just
engines.
passed through 1
Getting
kilometer
ready.
altitude,
There we go.
getting ready
There we
for
go.
the relight.
Land it! Ignition! We got nothing! What's happening? That didn't sound good. That didn't sound good. What happened? What happened? It didn't sound good, whatever it was. Okay, well, flight's over. It didn't even sound like the engine's ignited. It sounded very quiet. Uh-huh. I'm gonna guess that it went kaboom. Because it didn't sound good. Everybody's saying debris was flying on the NSF feed. It blew up, saw debris flying on the NSF view. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm guessing, is that maybe she went kaboom. But I don't think we're going to get telemetry back now. So, yeah, radio silence. Why no external view? Well, it was just too foggy. There was no...
We're back with you. As you can see from the frozen camera view, we lost the clock at T plus 5 minutes 49 seconds. Looks like we've had another exciting test of Starship number 11. A reminder again, this is a test series to gather data on entry of the Starship vehicle at subsonic speeds as it comes back to the landing zone. It does appear, though, that another exciting test, as we say. We don't have any good camera views to share with you right now, so with that, we are going to bring the webcast to a close.
That's it?
A quick recap. We had the nominal ascent. We maneuvered to horizontal when we got to 10 kilometers. The entry, we had some nice views from the exterior camera showing the flaps were quiet as we descended, but then we had the camera freeze up as we got into the engine ignition sequence, and so we're going to have to find out from the team what happened. But with that, we'd like to thank the team and bring the webcast to a close, and we'll be back with you with the next Starship test in the near future.
Okay, well, that was something. So, yeah, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that she went kaboom, because he's back. Does he have something?
And for those who just joined us,
Oh.
The frozen view we saw on the camera doesn't mean that we were waiting for the signal to come back. Starship 11 is not coming back. Don't wait for the landing.
Okay.
We do appear to have lost all the data from the vehicle, and the team, of course, is away from the landing pad. So we'll be out there seeing what we had. Please follow us on social media for updates. But with that, we are going to bring the webcast to a close, interesting flight, and as always with Starship, an exciting time on our webcast. Thank you for tuning in today.
So it's not coming back. Yeah, so basically it sounds like we had a RUD. Rapid unscheduled disassembly on land. Yeah, really strange strange broadcast today. There you go. Okay, so they ended it. Yeah, so that was something. We couldn't see what it was, but let's go back. We're gonna, I guess we'll turn up the music a touch, but yeah, this was, Time Waster says, this was the weirdest launch coverage ever, right? This was so strange. We had no view. The camera kept cutting out.
2 kilometers altitude.
We had, all right, let's go back to, what do I want to do? I guess I want to go here. We'll turn our
1 kilometer altitude.
Our replay
Plus 545
text on. We'll turn him down. So we already saw what happened. Well, actually, I do actually want to listen in. So they lost. This was kind of strange, but they lost telemetry, and the clock stopped. At what point? Let's turn this back up. Turn the music off. At what point does the clock stop?
One kilometer altitude.
Right here.
T plus 545.
3, 2,
We've just passed through 1 kilometer altitude, getting ready for the relay.
Right there, the camera froze and the clock stopped. And those sounds, it almost sounded like it didn't even, like the engines didn't even come on. It kind of sounded like it just belly flopped straight into the ground, but
altitude.
Listen to this
T plus
sound.
545. We've just passed through 1 kilometer altitude, getting ready for the relay.
So I wonder, I guess this is, Dana Rivera says that, thinks that it exploded in the air. That's kind of what I'm wondering is, did it actually have an anomaly in the air? And I wonder, because it doesn't even sound like the engines went full on, that the engines even started. So we had the camera cut out and the clock stop in midair, which tells me that it seems like we had an anomaly because even if you look back, even when we lost the camera, where did we lose the camera? Back here?
Coming up at T plus 4 minutes.
We lost the camera back here. The clock is still running, meaning they're getting telemetry, the mission is still proceeding. But up here, when the engine started up, the clock stopped, which is, that's the main concern for me. Right here, engine ignition, and the clock stops. So, yeah, that seems like a problem. All right, let me see. Let's go back and, let's see, give me 1 second here. We're going to take a look around, and we'll see. So, Nomadic says the transponder froze. They went COM 0, lost telemetry, FTS activated. She never even made it to the ground. Interesting. So that's from Nomadic. Nomadic usually pretty reliable, but Nomadic says that FTS activated. If it's because they lost, probably because they lost telemetry. Which wouldn't surprise me. I wonder if we can see it on. Let me look on the S Padre camera here for a second, because I know that's got kind of a wider view to it. I don't know how far back, how long ago How long ago was that? I don't even know what happened. So it would have been like 10 minutes ago. This is gonna be impossible to try to find. So this is S Padre. I don't even know how to like seek to find this because it's so foggy. How far back was it? No, see, that's too far back. That's like in the middle of the launch. I don't know. Okay. Let's try. That's going to be impossible. Let's try something else. Monkey DKS says, how are we going to know who won landing bingo? I think everybody loses landing bingo. Let's see, 80610, is that, are you giving me, what is that, what is, Lab Padre? Well, I can't show Lab Padre's cams. Don't have permission to show Lab Padre's cams, but, try 908. Yeah, there's no timestamp on the S Pod. This is S Padre, not Lab Padre. Okay, let's try. So let me see. Let's see if we had another potential view added here. Give us a second here. I'm sure we can find something. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, it seems like if we look at from my friends over at NASA Spaceflight, let's see, get rid of that one for a second. From my friends over at NASA Spaceflight here, they showed, so they're showing the SpaceX feed as well. But look at, you can see debris raining down from above right after the camera feed cut out. So here's the camera feed from SpaceX, and then debris just raining down from above. So it appears that that we had a mid-air anomaly, not an actual landing, and not necessarily a landing anomaly itself, but some sort of mid-air anomaly that then caused just debris to rain down from above. Best we got was from NASAspaceflight.com here. You can see just debris coming in. There's a link to NASA Spaceflight's feed down in my YouTube description if you want to jump over and see that, because that's the best. That's the best we've seen so far. Oh, bummer, because this is where it cut out here. So it does seem like we had just a touch of an anomaly. Yeah, okay, and I got one of my sources has confirmed that FTS was activated. So yeah, it looks like we had a flight termination system come online and ended us a little bit early today. Sounds like we lost telemetry. Nomadic says the transponder went offline. And kaboom. Well, that's a bummer. All right, well, let's get to a couple questions. I wish there was more to see here, but at least grab a couple questions. I saw Carrie Ann sent over a super chat during the actual launch itself. Thanks, Carrie Ann. It was a shame there wasn't much to see. SI-68. When the walls fell? I don't know the reference there. Must be out of touch on that, but thanks for your support. KDB lost all data from this test. That's gotta hurt. Yeah, it does seem... Well, when they say lost all data, I think they mean they lost the data stream. Not necessarily that they lost all their data, because all the telemetry that came in, they would have been able to record that. But that moment that the clock stopped is likely the moment that FTS was activated, and at that point, all your data streams stopped, because there's no more data coming in. The rocket just went... SOS. Bummer. Okay, well.
Space Lobster ate the T-Teb. That's the answer.
That's the answer. Space Lobster got us again. Oh, man.
Lobster Fest is on.
Just back from the Academy, it looks like a FTS. It does seem like flight... Yes. So I did get confirmation from one of my sources that says flight termination system activated. And we didn't land at all. Didn't even attempt to land. I mean, they started a landing attempt, but didn't get very far. That's from Lim. Lim, one of our longtime channel members. Thanks, Lim. Axel Perez, thanks for the super chat again. Why didn't they wait for the fog to go away? You know, that's a great question that I don't know the answer to. Particularly for instances just like this. Like, it would be great to be able to analyze video and go back and say, all right, what actually happened? Now, they do have the engineering video feeds, which is what we saw, like, from the internal cameras and the mounted cameras, so they would be able to see, like, this camera here that we're looking at. They'd be able to see, you know, this camera. They've got, obviously, this is the same one that we saw a minute ago. Where was the other? They got this camera, which I think might be the same one as well. This is, like, downward facing. So they do have a couple of engineering cameras they can analyze. They've also got tons and tons of telemetry data coming in that they can analyze. I mean, they've got every single set, you know, we're seeing the clock and then the simulated basic telemetry from Flight Club, but they're going to have every single sensor, every single measurement on the actual vehicle. They would have all that telemetry to pour over to see what happened. So yeah, well, it looks like the flight termination system works. Yeah, Nomadic says, technically, with it raining debris from the flight termination system, we all win landing bingo. So everybody wins today. It's a push. Maybe there was no anomaly, just missed the pad and had to do it with flight termination. Well, it seemed like it was the termination system seemed to have activated very, very early. Meaning, like, very early, meaning, like, early in the landing sequence. Like, it doesn't seem like it was enough time for it to actually, you know, it wasn't analyzing that it was coming down in the right spot. Did it self-destruct? Yes. Automated flight termination system ended it. Did you hear any explosion? Kind of. Like, here, let me go back. Let's listen into the audio again, because we can't really see it, but if we listen carefully... Do I have this all the way up? Yeah, this is as loud as it goes.
1 kilometer altitude.
Just listen in.
T plus 545, we've just passed through 1 kilometer altitude, getting ready for the relay.
Yeah, see, we never even hear the Raptors really going at all. Like, let's back that up. Oh, that's volume. Let's back that up just a touch.
1 kilometer altitude.
T plus 545, we've just passed through 1 kilometer altitude, getting ready for the relay.
I mean, we don't even hear you hear the Raptors come on for like just a brief moment, and then nothing. You're hearing like that whistling. It's not even a whistling sound. It's a whooshing sound, which is that's not Raptors running. You get a whooshing sound, and then of course we hear some kaboom. So yeah, we looks like we got flight termination here. Joao Gabriel Armando says FTS activated by the FAA. I doubt it. Generally, the FAA is there for public safety, but the FTS system, for the most part, is going to be automated flight termination. There's too many things that they have to measure that the FTS needs to activate very, very quickly. So that's not. That's not really a thing. And I don't even think the FAA, the safety inspector that's there, would likely not actually be the one to actually activate an FTS if it was a manual FTS. I mean, a manual FTS would have to be something where the rocket is going way off course and the automated system was not responding. They could manually trigger it. But for the most part, it's pretty much automated. And it's the computer system is looking at parameters. And in this case, it sounds like from a few of our sources here, it sounds like that they lost telemetry feed, and that is one of the conditions. If you look at the FAA, the Office of Commercial Space Transportation, in their guidelines, it says that the FTS system has to have parameters in there that if you lose telemetry, how long are you going to wait to get telemetry back? Like if you have a quick blip, might not necessarily trigger FTS, but quick blip could be, we don't know what those parameters are. Like quick blip could be like 1 second. Like they might let you lose telemetry for microseconds. So yeah, most of that's going to be automated. All those parameters are going to be in the flight termination system ahead of time to say, if this happens, trigger the flight termination system. And it seems like here we lost telemetry. And yeah, there was away she went. So yeah, let's not go on the FAA bashing train from this. This has nothing to do with the FAA, other than the fact that the FAA requires them to have a flight termination system with parameters in place. How does it self-destruct? So there's basically, it's like C4 charges that are on the outside of the vehicle. So if we look at, let me pull up I'll pull up a photo for you, and I'll show you exactly where the charges are. If I can have let me find a good photo that shows this. Maybe this one? You see it in this one? Yeah, you can kind of see it in this one. Here, I'll show you this one. So let's do this. Let's open this. There it is. Okay. So if we zoom in here, you've got 2 flight termination charges. So here's our Starship. I could probably find a better one, but this is the first one that I found here. But your flight termination charges, you've got one right here. They're little white patches on either side of the cable raceways. So you've got one here, you've got one over here. I'll use my little mouse locator here so you can see where I'm pointing. But one there, one here, and they're basically C4 charges that they activate and they intentionally just blow up the rocket. I think they're usually like shaped charges, I believe. So that they blow, obviously they want to blow inwards and up, into the rocket to break it into lots of pieces. Where is the microphone we're hearing located? So the microphone we were probably hearing is likely mounted right on Starhopper. That's where a lot of the cameras are. They're mounted right on Starhopper, which is right next to the landing pad. What if this sound was after explosion, the camera was falling? No, I don't think the sounds themselves were from the actual engineering cameras. Those sounds that we heard were likely from either Starhopper with the cameras that are there at Starhopper, or it could have been cameras from further away. They have the far field camera that's like over by the production site. That camera might have microphones as well. Let me see. Okay, hold on. I got some more information here. Okay, so I got some information that I've been cleared to share. So my source tells me that the mid flip was leaning down. It was over the tank farm and corrected itself. It spun slightly, leaned back slightly, and then they lost telemetry. So it sounds like we had a couple of things happening here today. So this is from one of my sources here. We had it leaning down, which we've seen that before, but a lot of times we get it corrected. We had it was over the tank farm, which is a little concerning, but it corrected. Spun slightly, which is interesting. Leaned back slightly. I don't think we've seen that really, but of course we don't really know. Like slightly could mean just a little bit that you wouldn't even really see from an external camera. And then they lost telemetry. That's obviously a problem. So there you go. There's from my my inside source there. According to Trevor Mullman, Trevor said the vehicle was rotating about its axis more than during previous flights. This suggests there was an issue with the belly flop maneuver, but of course none of this is confirmed. Yeah, so that's from Trevor Mullman, which also matches up with what my source just provided me. So yeah, it sounds like we had a couple of issues happening. So it sounds like we had some issues. So not only did we have issues with the belly flop or the landing, obviously, in the flight termination system, but it sounds like we also had some issues with the belly flop itself. So we had a little bit of a spin. So here's what we're talking about. Obviously, we went up, we come down, we got the belly flop. You get your little flaperation starts. I don't think I separated these. I can't do those. But anyway, so got during the belly flop, from what it sounds like we had, let's put this in front of my face so it focuses on this. The mid flip, meaning the mid-flight flip to belly flop, was leaning down. We've seen that before, but we obviously, without the camera feed, we don't really know how much it was leaning down. So leaning down, maybe, well, the last time on SN10, it went down quite a bit, but came down. It said it was over the tank farm, which would be a problem. You don't want it to come down on that tank farm, but it corrected itself. So that's good. You've got a lot of control with the operation flaperation here. It's basically like an airplane at that point. So corrected itself to get away from the tank farm. It spun slightly, so it might have been doing and when we say slightly, I don't think we were in a flat spin where it was just out of control. But I don't know. I haven't seen the video. But spun slightly, so it may have been, doing one of these kind of things. And leaned back slightly. Maybe something like this. That could be a little problematic. And then they lost telemetry. So, no good. Well, it's always good because we had a test. We got a test. We got information from it. That's the important thing, right? We're getting more data, more testing. So interesting. I'm still shocked that they launched in the fog. When did it happen? So we are now 35 minutes past the launch. Probably should put up, we probably should clarify, instead of the clock counting, we probably should go, we probably should put this up and say, let me see here. Let's put this up so everybody knows where we are. All right, let me see. Somebody else sent me a video feed. Let me switch this over to my other monitor here for just a second and see. One of our moderators said that we've got an explosion that's slightly visible at 8:38. I don't know how to get to 8:38. Let me see. I don't know how to get to 8:38. If you can link me to a direct timestamp, that might be easier, but because I don't see a timestamp on the feed that you're sending me. Okay. Let's go back. Anyone need some stainless steel? Yeah, there's a little bit of extra laying around. So let's I don't know, because we didn't. I'm gonna pull up Kerbal. We're gonna do that. We're gonna do this in Kerbal. I wonder. I was trying to think, is there any way that I could simulate a flight termination in Kerbal? I don't think I could. 8:33 a.m. Yeah, well, I knew what it meant, like 8:33 a.m., but there's no. Oh, maybe. Okay, I see what you're saying on their replay. Oh, interesting. Here's another. Oh, man. Okay, here's something interesting that, so this is from my friends over at NASA Spaceflight. There's a link. Here, we'll put this over here. So, from my, let's go over here. So, from my friends over at NASA Spaceflight, there's a link to their channel down in the description below. But I was just going to show, you can see some debris falling, and then we get a big smash of dirt there. Boom! Look at that. The cameras were in danger. That's kind of interesting. So that was the first thing that I was going to show. And actually, oh, hold on. We're going to look at NASA. So NASA Spaceflight has their cameras. These are the NASA Spaceflight cameras. And so Lab Padres cameras in this same spot. Tim Dodd, the everyday astronaut, has a camera in this same spot. But as debris is coming down, like their camera feed here, almost, hold on, where was it? So there's the big dirt splash that we saw. And then, like, look at the camera getting rocked around. There's more boom, right there. Oh, man. Like, that's, I hope their cameras are okay. It looks like they're okay, but, like, there's a lot of media equipment right in that particular area between Lab Padre, NASA Spaceflight, and Everyday Astronaut. They got a bunch of cameras there, and it looked like they were in danger for some of that debris there that was coming down was endangering their cameras a bit. So hopefully everything's okay with their. And that's, yeah, so as Fritz46 says, that's exactly why people leave. Floevo said, Elon posted a tweet. Let's see what Elon had to say. What did Elon say? I don't see... Maybe he replied to somebody. Oh, yeah. All right, so from Elon Musk, we'll throw this over here. Nope, not over there. Over here. So from Elon Musk, here, we'll just zoom this in. Let's see, get rid of the events list. At least the crater is in the right place. So that was the start. And then here it says, looks like engine 2 had issues on ascent, didn't reach operating chamber pressure during the landing burn, but in theory, it wasn't needed. Remember, they were starting up 3 engines so that they could have one engine basically be an anomaly during the actual landing burn and just use the other 2. Something significant happened shortly after landing burn start. Should know what it was once we can examine the bits later today. So yeah, they're, and then at least the crater is in the right place. That's probably a good, that's probably a good thing, because if that came down over the top of the tank farm, that would have been a problem. All right, so there's from Elon. Let's see, let me get rid of this. I got too many windows open. Light mode. This is on my desktop. I use light mode. Easier to show on the stream. Check your Discord. Okay, hold on. Oh, look at that. This is some impressive photos here by my friend Trevor Mallman. If you go take a look at his Twitter, at Trevor Mallman on Twitter, he's got some nice photos of the actual flip itself. I'm surprised he's able to actually get it, but maybe from where he was located, you'd actually see some of the, you could see above that fog there, but... So you got some views of the actual flip that we'll actually see. Hopefully, maybe we could see some video of that from some of these other providers. Let me see. Each of these photos is in succession of time as it happened from a fixed location. One is Miko. Oh, interesting. So I didn't even think about this. So this is from a fixed location that Trevor was taking these photos from. So you've got Miko, the Bellyflop, and you notice that, like, the Bellyflop, it's coming down this direction. Interesting. But then it kind of swivels away. Swivels away from the camera here, and then continues pivoting that direction. Some awesome photos by Trevor Mallman. That's at Trevor Mallman on Twitter. Let's see. Oh, we got another new Elon tweet. I can't keep up with all these. Another new Elon tweet. Now what did he tweet? Hold on. Looks like, oh, I think I saw this already. The engine 2 issues, is that the one you're talking about? All right, a bit disappointing here, but let's see. Axel Perez, thanks for the super chat. What will happen to super heavy buster? Super heavy booster? I mean, the super heavy booster that we have now, BN1, is a pathfinder, meaning that they're trying to figure out how to build it, how to transport it, how to mount it on the launch pad. It's not expected to fly. So the first one that's expected to like actually go orbital is booster number 3. Booster number 2 might do some test flights, maybe some static fires or something. Not really sure what the plan is for booster number 2, but we know that booster number 1 is just a pathfinder. They're not going to do any sort of flight tests with booster number 1. So they're just going to kind of move that around from what my understanding is. Move it around, figure out how to build it, figure out how to transport it, all that kind of stuff. Lots of people blaming the fog. Yeah, I don't think the fog had anything to do with it other than the fact that it was annoying that we couldn't see all this. Man, it would have been great to see Flight Terminate, the FTS system, activate if that fog wasn't around. Yeah, so it looks like, so we had several issues here today, which is a shame. So just to, I guess to recap, should we try it? We tried this the other day in our Patreon Discord, the Patreon section of our Discord. Maybe we'll try it again. But just to recap on what happened here. So we had a launch today. It seems like, you know, we should go back and look at engine. So I don't know. Does anybody know from this perspective? So we said engine number 2. I don't know which one's considered engine number 2 from this perspective.
Of the 3 Raptor engines?
And I don't think, we're probably not going to be able to tell. Well, maybe it's this one. You can see. Is that, I don't know what you can see.
Ten, 8,
So,
7.
yeah. Here was
6,
the fog.
5,
Starship
4,
here.
3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Okay, so
T plus 30.
couple things while we back. Oh, we don't need that. Couple things before we get too far. One, this little bit of extra flaminess that shows up right up here. Right there. Not super concerning. Like, this has happened before. But could it potentially be an issue? Maybe, but I don't see it. This is kind of interesting. This is looks like it's inside the... Which tank would this be? Is this the liquid oxygen tank? Or the methane tank? This looks like the liquid oxygen tank. Can't really say for sure, but this is inside one of the fuel tanks. That was kind of cool.
Starbase in South Texas.
1 kilometer altitude.
National Weather Service Brownsville has a tweet with a radar plume. That's kind of interesting. Let me look at that while we
Views
play
from
this
the
back.
external camera on Starship number 11, looking back towards the Starbase facility in the fog in South Texas.
Let me see if I can find that. Oh, yeah. Here we go. Look at this. Hold on. Pause. Oh, we'll let that play out for a minute, but here's the tweet from the National Weather Service in Brownsville. It says, if anyone was on South Padre Island or in the Boca Chica area, there shouldn't be anybody in the Boca Chica area. Port Isabel, Laguna Vista, etc., received an abrupt and startling wake-up this morning. This was probably it. Our
4
radar...
kilometers altitude.
Our radar was able to see Starship SN11 unfortunately explode in mid-air.
T plus 2 minutes. We're getting ready to shut down the first
there.
of the 3 Raptor engines.
So that definitely gives you a pretty definitive mid-air explosion right there. Because that's got all the radar returns.
T plus 2 minutes, 21 seconds. You can see we have shut down the first of the 3 engines on time as planned.
Wait a minute. This is like... This is in the wrong place, though. Isn't that? Is that just... Would that just be like... Would that be like the heat return? Or like the... I don't know what that... That's in the wrong place, isn't it? Because, like, Boca Chica is down here farther.
T plus 3 minutes, continuing.
That's
to climb
overpopulation
on
way
power
up
of 2
there.
engines. We're past 8 kilometers.
That's interesting. I don't know what that is. Because that, like, it shouldn't be that far north. Somebody help me out here. I don't know why it would be that far north. That's overpopulation. And I'm pretty sure it didn't explode overpopulation up there. Why would that...
T plus 3.5 minutes. You can see with the camera view we have shut down the second of the 3 engines as planned. We're now slowly climbing to the final 10-kilometer altitude on the power of the single Raptor engine.
That's what I'm...
Once we're at apogee, we'll hover short.
So a couple of people saying maybe the cloud, like Time Waste just said maybe the cloud moved afterwards by the wind. That's kind of what I'm thinking, is that we had the explosion and then the cloud, you know, the explosion cloud moved to the north, which, like, we could look at, where was our, let me pull up our weather here real quick. And you can see that would make sense because our ground level winds, let's see, where's my map? Where'd it go? Switch over here. Okay, so our ground level winds here are pretty much heading out of the south towards the north. So if you had, so Boca Chica is down here, like way down here. That radar return is like up here, which is overpopulation. So explosion happened down here. There's no way that it exploded up here. So the explosion happened down here. It would have traveled to the north, but I guess I don't know what would be causing a radar. My question really is what is causing the radar return? Because your radar is going to send out radar signals and get a return back. So, let's see. Oh, Nomadic says that's atomized liquids and smoke from the charges. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I guess I could see the liquids especially. I was just trying to think of like what... That's what I was really confused about, is just what was doing what was bringing that radar return back. So yeah, that sounds about right. Is atomized liquids, smoke from the charges, and that would have just been traveling to the north because we had the explosion would have been down here, and then the prevailing winds here would have carried that north this direction. So we can see the direction that the wind is blowing here today. This is 10 meters above the ground. You know, say it exploded. I don't know, what were we at altitude-wise? We're like 500 meters, weren't we? And that's also traveling, you know, that's traveling out of the south to the north a little bit quicker. We might have been at 1 kilometer. I think we were lower than that, but I'm not sure. That's almost directly to the north. Actually, the higher up you go, the more north it is. So yeah, probably right around here, 750 meters to the north, and that would have pushed that from down here. Like, the actual explosion would have happened down here, and it's just pushing it to the north. Okay, let's go. I want to go back to this view here, because I want to look at the engine. So
Shut down the first of the three. T plus 2 minutes. We're getting ready to shut down the first of the 3 Raptor engines.
it was Raptor. Let's see. So it was engine number 2. And I don't know for sure. The Matic says it was Raptor SN52 with the pressure problem in position 2. I don't know which one position 2 is. Is this position 2 in the back right? In this camera view? Because I don't know. I get confused on my orientation on where we are. Is this position? I'm assuming this is position 2 back here. I'm going by the order in which they shut down. So I'm assuming this is engine 1, or position 1. This is position 2, and the front one is position 3. Do I have that right? Back left. 2 is between 1 and 3. Yeah, thank you very much, Fritz. I got that. The Matic says back left. So do I have it backwards then? Does engine 2 shut off first? This is position 2, because this is the one that shuts off here first. So we get shutdown. Now this is normal. This is completely normal. This would not be.
T plus 2
This
minutes,
is not a
21
concern.
seconds. You can see we have shut down the first of the 3 engines on time as planned.
So that's expected. That's planned to shut that down. All right, so
T plus 3 minutes, continuing to climb on power of 2 engines. We're past 8 kilometers.
yeah, and that's so. What 2357 here is saying is the exhaust on the right doesn't look completely right. Would fit the chamber pressure issue. Well, that was my initial thought was kind of the same line, but it's really hard to tell that. But you definitely get a little more orange glow from this engine on the right, and that was another reason why I was thinking this is engine 2. So Elon said we had a problem with engine 2 during ascent, so it would have been during this period right here. But it's so hard to tell because you also got to keep in mind, like, this engine's a little further away, so we're gonna have a little bigger field of view. So like the exhaust from this engine could look exactly the same. This one's just closer to the camera, so we can't see that low.
2 minutes, 21 seconds. You can see we have shut down the first of the 3 engines on time as planned.
So the first engine goes down, the second engine goes down, and that's completely. Fast forward here a touch. So the second engine, there was the second engine cut off. We're kind of losing the video feed a little bit. So the second engine went out, completely normal. But the interesting thing, as Elon mentioned, we should have been okay for landing, even with
T plus
engine 2 having a
minutes.
problem.
You can see with the camera view, we have shut down the second of the 3 engines as planned. We're now slowly climbing to the final 10-kilometer altitude on the power of the single Raptor engine. Once we're at apogee, we'll hover and we.
So we lost our
lost
our video feed. Came back
T
during
plus
the
5 minutes.
came back during the belly flop. And all right, so this would be interesting. So my source has told me that there are a number of issues. So obviously we have the bit from Elon talking about engine 2 having an issue during ascent, didn't come up to full chamber pressure. That's a problem, but shouldn't necessarily be a problem for landing, because remember, they switched to starting up all 3 engines, finding out which one was the best, or which one was which one was the worst, and then they would shut that down for the landing. So you'd have a two engine landing burn, And I think they were going to stick to 2 engines. Originally, they started up 3, went to 2 for the flip, and then went to 1 for the actual landing burn. But they can lose an engine or have a underperforming engine and still do the landing burn. So we had a couple of issues. So we had engine 2 having an issue during ascent. During the belly flop here, what my sources are telling me is we're in a belly flop here now, and this is confirmed by Trevor Mullman on Twitter, who took some photos of it, and you can see in Trevor Mullman's photos, you had the belly flop, so it's coming up. Let's see which way. I got to do this in mirrored form. So it comes up here. Looks like it did the belly. It would have been this way. So it did the belly flop this direction, and then as it pitched down, it actually gave a little bit of a twirl away from the camera this way and kind of did a spin like this. So from what my sources are telling me, we got the mid flip, big downward lean. It was corrected itself, was a little bit of a spin like this, it seems like. Had a little bit of a lean back, maybe during the correction. And then during the actual landing burn startup, that's when we had a major anomaly. And they don't know exactly what happened. We had a major anomaly, which eventually activated the flight termination system. And she went kaboom. Never made it to the ground. Let's see. All right, another tweet from Elon. Another tweet from Elon that says SN15 rolls to the launch pad in a few days. It has hundreds of design improvements across structures, avionics, software, and engine. SN15 that's the big upgrade that we've kind of been waiting for, is on SN15. Hopefully one of those improvements covers this problem. If not, then retrofit will add a few more days. So yeah, we've got a lot of upgrades planned for SN15, and it sounds like SN15 is heading out in just a few days, and we'll start this whole process over again. I'm gonna guess in about, probably a month's time is when we'll see SN15 fly. But all right, let's go back to our
minutes. We're passing
our
through 5
replay here.
kilometers. A nice view from the exterior camera, showing one of the flaps on the
Downrange,
Starship
cross-range
test
control
vehicle
air
number
support gear.
11.
There you go. Nomadic said he was disoriented. SN52 is the back right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, is the back right. But I get the disoriented thing, because I get confused too. I never know where in the vehicle the camera is. But what happened to 12, 13, and 14? Yeah, so because they're doing so many upgrades to 15, they decided to basically
2 kilometers altitude.
to skip. They stopped proceeding with the build on 12, 13, and 14. So they're skipping those. They got scrapped. They're not happening. They're going to go right to
1
15.
kilometer altitude.
T plus 545. We've just passed through 1 kilometer altitude, getting ready for the relight.
And here it is. Yeah, so some sort of major anomaly
45. We've
right at
1 kilometer altitude.
T plus 545. We've just passed through 1 kilometer altitude, getting ready for the relight.
right there. Yeah, so obviously we
Getting ready for the relight.
Yeah. So obviously that didn't work out. So I do want to see... Somebody suggested we look at Lab Padre or S Padre. I can't show Lab Padre. Don't have permission to do that, but I could show you S Padre if I can find it. The trouble is it's really, really hard to find, especially on S Padre, because there's no, like, timestamps on S Padre, so I can't see, like, how far back... I can't figure out how far back to actually go on S Padre. If somebody can find it and link me directly to a timestamp on S Padre, I'd be happy to show it, but I can't find it on S Padre. I can't show you Lab Padre's stream. We could try. Let me see. Somebody had said that Tim, the Everyday Astronaut, had audio of the actual flight termination system.
We're back with you, as you can see.
Let me try. See if we can find it here. Try around an hour ago. I did. I did try an hour ago, and it's so hard to find. I mean, because that flight termination system is going to be like this, and it's so foggy. Like I can't even see if we're close. Did you discuss the flame at T+15 already? We did talk about that a little bit. Like, that is not hugely concerning for me. Slightly concerning. I'm assuming you're talking about... I don't remember it being at 15. The one at 25 or at 15? Oh, maybe. Actually, I didn't see the one at 15. Right here, this one that you're seeing? So this would be, so this camera's in a different position here. This is like the opposite. So, oh, okay, maybe, yeah, because this would have been. So I think this is engine 2 in this camera view, which is the opposite. Yeah, so there's SN52, which is the engine that had our issues. So it is this engine. I didn't think it was this engine at first, but it is this engine that had an issue, and that is also the engine that has that little bit of a flame pop out right there. Like, it does pop out pretty abruptly. Like, it's not like a slow appearance, which is interesting. Could be some sort of engine failure there on SN52, because SN52, which is this one right here, that's our engine that we had problems on. So maybe that's related. Why wouldn't they wait until it was clear? I don't know. That's a great question. I kind of wonder that myself on why they didn't wait until the fog cleared. Let's play... Andrew says, let's play the bit after it's shut down. There's definitely a black wire flapping around. You're talking about after engine 2 shut down, which would have been it would have been way up here after this camera view, I think. Right here. You talking about this over here? That doesn't concern me over here. Got some little bits of pieces and stuff flying off. I don't see a wire on the actual engine or something flapping around. All we know is it went bada boom and we couldn't even see it. I know, right?
Space Lobster ate the T-Teb. That's the answer.
All right, let's... Tim must not be live anymore. I'm the only fool that's still just chatting away, watching all this. Seems Tim lost his cam getting no contact with it. Oh, no. See, that's what I was worried about. Oh, I was worried about their cameras because I saw those, like, in the NASA spaceflight feed. I saw that debris rocking the NASA spaceflight camera around. And I was so worried about their cameras because there were a lot of cameras in that area. Oh, that's from Jack Miller. Is that right? Did Tim lose his camera? Oh, say it ain't so. Oh, that would be awful. Those are so expensive. Oh, no. I should check out... Hold on, let me... Let's see, hold on. I'm gonna... Yeah, the camera he just set up. Let me see, hold on. We're gonna pull up Tim's. Always love Tim's stuff. I'm curious. Did he really lose his...
Oh God, we probably just... I bet there's gonna be Starship pieces on our cameras.
Oh no. Look at Tim's face. Let me get my stuff out of the way. Look at Tim's face.
We may have just lost about 20 grand worth of gear.
Oh no. Oh no.
Do we still just blew it? Nation. We're gonna have a... I think big pieces or something. Oh, our fog is getting worse, it looks like. What is that? Big pieces or something?
Oh no.
I think it blew up. Yeah. I think they did flight termination. We're gonna have a boom here, guys. Get ready. Yeah, that was pizza. Oh, they blew it out of the sky.
Oh no.
They just blew it out of the sky, guys.
Oh no, Tim, your cameras. Oh.
Do we still have our cameras? Oh God. Oh God.
Look at his face.
I bet there's gonna be Starship pieces on our cameras.
Oh no. It's like 20 grand worth of cameras that he just...
We may have just lost about 20 grand worth of gear.
Oh no.
They blew it up out of the sky. Pieces of Starship are falling.
Oh no, I feel so bad for Tim. Oh, look at it. I can't even imagine the thought that's going through his head right now as he's just seeing dollar signs.
Is yours still going, Ryan?
He's got dollar signs just dollar signs floating in front of his eyes right now.
It was 5:50 was the last second, so it was only about I think before relight or during relight.
Yeah, unfortunately, so a couple people saying that maybe Elon will reimburse him. I don't think they will. Like, that's kind of the risk you take with launch cameras. I mean, that kind of stuff happens with launch photography. Oh, look at Tim's face. Dude, that is the face of... I just...
One step forward,
lost.
2 steps back, I guess.
I don't mean to laugh. It's not funny.
Yeah, we had debris
but
falling.
I don't know what else to... I don't know what else to say to that, because like that, it's... I know how hard he just worked to put all those cameras up. Yeah, is it insured? I mean, well, he might have insurance, but like, imagine trying to go to the insurance company and be like, yeah, so we just set up all our cameras right next to a giant rocket that's experimental and might explode. And guess what? It did explode and it ruined all our stuff. Can you pay for it? Insurance company would be like, what? You put your cameras where? No, we're not paying for that. Oh my goodness. That was my first thought when I saw that debris dropping around the NASA spaceflight camera. Oh, I hope this I hope it just like, I hope the cameras are okay, and maybe it just like dropped the connection, or it like knocked the tower over, the data tower over, so they just don't have a feed. Oh, that's so awful. Anyways, all right, well, moment of silence for all the cameras that sacrificed themselves today for the duty to capture wonderful things. Yeah, because there'd be at least 3 cameras in that area. It'd be lab padres, everyday astronauts, and NASA space flights. There's 3 cameras right there in that spot. Is there a thermal camera that can film through the fog? Lab Padre has a thermal camera. I can't show it to you, but you might be able to see something on Lab Padre's thermal camera. All right, well. Is SN15 built yet? It is built. Elon said it's going to roll out in a couple of days. Will the warranty cover it? Yeah, I don't think. Try contacting Canon warranty. But all of a sudden, I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden the camera just stopped working. I mean, it's the weirdest thing. It just stopped working. Come back and be like, why? Why does it have scorch marks all over it, along with this giant impression of a Raptor engine bell? That'd probably be a tough sell on the warranty replacement. Look at Jack Byer's Twitter. Debris found in Isla Blanca Park. Oh, that would not be good either, because that means we're going to probably have a longer FAA investigation. That wouldn't see that, like, that's also, and this is why the FAA is involved in this kind of stuff. Like, everybody gets mad at the FAA. Let me pull up Jack Byer's thing. This is why the FAA, like, everybody's like, oh, it's a test flight. So, like, why is the FAA should just leave them alone because it's a test flight and let them test. Who cares if it exploded? But here's the problem. If there's debris from this explosion, like, the fact that it exploded, not a big deal. Why can't I find Jack? Why can't I find Jack's Twitter? What? There it is. Some lightweight debris. I think thermal insulation blank. So this is from, this is Jack Byer from NASA Spaceflight. Lightweight debris, I think thermal insulation blanket made its way to the Isla Blanca Park. People reporting pieces of it floating down, and it looks exactly like debris I've seen at the launch site after SN8, 9, 10. Crazy if it actually is SN11 debris. Okay, if it's lightweight debris like that, like an insulation blanket, probably not a major concern, but like this is exactly why the FAA is involved, because if you have an explosion like this, or if the flight termination system has to trigger, then you want to make sure that your debris stays within your danger cone, your safety corridor, the place that you've evacuated. Like, it has to stay. I'm gonna keep the events list up here so people jumping in late know that it's there. What the FAA is trying to make sure that, like, the FAA doesn't care that it exploded. They want to make sure that even an explosion happens in a safe manner. So if it explodes and debris goes everywhere, your debris has to be contained within your exclusion zone. Especially like dangerous debris. Now, the question would be, does something like this, like an insulation blanket, is that going to have implications on the safety corridor, the evacuation zone, the exclusion zone that they have. Are they going to have to expand that? I wouldn't think so for something like an insulation blanket. But if you found like a piece of piping out in Isla Blanca Park where there's people, like that would be a problem. That's something where the FAA would be like, okay, yeah, listen, so remember all those simulations you ran that said debris would not travel this far? Well, they were wrong. So you need to do those simulations again. And next time around, your safety area has to be bigger, which that's gonna be a problem with trying to evacuate. That would be a problem with evacuating people from like South Padre Island, like Tim Dodd, the everyday astronaut, his new house that he bought where his Mars Studio B is, like that's like barely outside the exclusion zone. So that would be problematic, but I wouldn't think so for something like this. Like this is lightweight. This doesn't really pose a public safety risk. So, you know, I'm kind of being a little bit dramatic, but so based on this, like I don't think we're going to run into any of that. I'm just saying those are the things that the FAA evaluates, and they're trying to make sure that more dangerous stuff that's more dangerous than this doesn't end up where the public is. So there. Why was a test conducted in these weather conditions? That's a great question that I don't know the answer to. I was very surprised that they launched with all that fog. So they made it explode, or it happened on its own? I kind of yes to both. So the flight termination system was activated, according to my source, and so that would not have been like a manual process from somebody on the ground. That would have been an automated flight termination system activation. So it was the vehicle itself that went, oh, problem, something's wrong, goodbye, I'm out. So yes, it did it on its own, but they made it so it would do that. Does that make sense? Okay, you with me? Okay. Did it fly? It did fly, yeah. If the FAA finds out this is SN11 debris, wouldn't SN12 be delayed? Well, there's no SN12. The next one is SN15. But wouldn't the next, let's just say, wouldn't the next one be delayed for a long time until they can make sure SpaceX debris won't land in a populated area? Yes and no. It depends on what the debris is. Like if it's little pieces of insulation that can, pieces of insulation could float forever on the prevailing winds. Like that's not a huge concern unless there's, if there were like hypergolics on board, which there are not. But if there were like hydrazine or something like that, like if hydrazine was on board and that insulation had like hydrazine potentially on it, that could be a problem, but we don't have any of that. So just having debris, lightweight debris, like an insulation blanket, I wouldn't think too much that would result in too much of a delay. But what will result in at least some delay is because the flight termination system fired, they're going to have to figure out, like, did that happen correctly? Did the flight termination system work like it was supposed to? Where did the debris go for the flight termination system? Like how far away did like big dangerous pieces of debris go, like piping and sheet metal and all the COPVs, the composite over at pressure vessels, where did all the big stuff land? And even it doesn't even have to be big, like it could be small metal shards, anything that could be dangerous to people or property. Where did that stuff land? So a piece of insulation blanket, concerning, but I wouldn't necessarily think that it's a major delay. But what do I know? I could be wrong. Why are they skipping SN12 and 12, 13, and 14 and jumping straight to 15? SN15 has some major upgrades to it, and they basically decided, like, we need these major upgrades. There's no sense in flying 12, 13, and 14, which don't have these upgrades, so they scrapped those and went right to 15. Basically, they've learned a bunch of things from the earlier flights. They incorporated them into 15, and they're like, well, why waste time on 12, 13, and 14? We'll just go right to right to 15 and let's start flying these upgraded ones. All right, let me check our Discord here. I got a bunch of other tags. Yeah, okay, so looks like we got another tweet from Elon. Next major technology revision is SN20. This will be after SN15. Those ships will be orbit capable with heat shield and stage separation systems. Ascent success probability is high. However, SN20 and beyond vehicles will probably need many flight attempts to survive Mach 25 entry heating and land intact. So we got major upgrades happening at SN15. The next major upgrades will be SN20. I think they blew it up on purpose to test the kaboom system. Well, I don't think that was part of the plan today, but it did test the kaboom system, otherwise known as the flight termination system, which is, it's always nice that I guess you got a test in that it worked. I mean, when I say it's always nice, it's not really, but we accomplished this 30 years ago. Why is it so hard now? Yeah, this is an entirely different vehicle. We've actually never done this sort of thing. There's been no vehicle that has attempted to belly flop its way back and land. I mean, first of all, like the actual ascent process, like the first SN8 did the ascent just fine. I mean, even today they had a problem with one of the engines, but it still completed the ascent just fine. Like, yeah, we've been launching rockets for 30 years. The launching part, they got that part. It's the landing process. Like, this is brand new. We got Falcon 9, but that lands at tail first. Starship's not going to be able to land tail first because you've got, coming in tail first is a lot of speed. Then you need lots of fuel to kill that speed. The belly flop maneuver is to slow the vehicle down without needing engines to do it. So to be able to drop that speed so low without needing fuel or engines is hugely beneficial to the whole reusability concept. So it's doing this whole belly flop, but the problem with the belly flop is now you got a lot of slosh from with the fuels and the liquids, and now we've got helium that's pressurizing the vehicle. They want to go to that they want to pressurize it with the methane itself. Autogenous? What is the term I'm trying to say? Isn't it autogenous? Autogenous? What? I don't know how to say that word. Anyways, so these are a lot of like complicated topics that they're trying to work out that we didn't do 30 years ago, really. At what altitude do you think Starship exploded? I think we had decided. I think it was around like 500 to 1,000 meters. But I had the exact altitude up, or almost exact, from our flight club telemetry. I had that up during the actual launch itself. So if you rewind to my original coverage, you could probably see what the altitude said. But yeah, I think it was less than 1 kilometer, as Beach 8 says. Also, yeah, so a lot of people that are talking about how, there's some people talking about how the Raptors are problematic, or the Starship itself is problematic. Like, we don't really know what sort of issues when, that they had when developing the Falcon 9, for example. This is not a major, I mean, it was a major issue for this particular flight, but it's not a problem to have these sort of anomalies. Like, they're developing, they're learning, they're pushing the limits, they're trying stuff that nobody's ever done before, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. Do we know what caused it yet? We do not. Did we get a confirmation if it landed or not? Yeah, we have confirmation that it did not land. It did not land. Flight termination system activated, and it landed, but not in one piece. It landed in many, many pieces. It's every Starship launch recorded from a drone. Sometimes they do have a drone out, but I imagine they might not have had the drone today because of the fog. Pieces of it landed, yeah. SN10 better than SN11. I mean, that's gonna happen as they're pushing through. Landed on Tim's camera. I know, I feel bad for Tim. I hope it didn't kill the camera. You know, maybe it just like knocked the tower over. It's possible. Maybe, you know, he's got a big mast with a big tower that sends the data feed back to his studio. Maybe just the tower fell over. It could have been, you know, debris landed next to it, kicked up some dirt, knocked it over. You know, let's just hope that that's the case and that the camera survived. But there was no fog at 1 kilometer, so the drone could have been hanging there. Yeah, they don't usually bring the drone up quite that high, but maybe something just sliced through a cable. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for Tim's sake, is that maybe just one of his cables got cut or the data antenna got knocked over. Do they need to rethink the Raptors? No, I don't think there's any evidence of that. I mean, remember, the Raptors are being developed in tandem with the Starship, so they are working on making the Raptors better and working on making the Starship better. Like, this is development. Everybody's gotta be patient. These are things that are going to happen. I mean, we just had, like, SpaceX is very unique. Like, we've had SN8, SN9, SN10, and now SN11 in the period of like 3 months. And this is not, like, if you look at like the SLS program, how many times has the SLS flown? Like, 0. So most rocket companies develop and test things like individually in components, and they test them and run simulations, and they do that for years and years and years and years, and then they're like, all right, now let's fly it. That's not what SpaceX is doing. SpaceX is like, yeah, it looks pretty good. Let's fly it and we'll see what happens. And they send it, and things will go wrong. But what the benefit is that SpaceX can be like, oh, okay, well, that didn't work. Let's try this. Send it again. And they can do that kind of, those rapid flights, which means they can make real world changes a lot faster. What are my thoughts on the Artemis mission? Do you think it will go through with it and make it to the moon in 2024? I do think they're going to go through with it. At least the first flight. I don't know. It's hard to say what's going to happen after that first flight. I think at least the first flight will go. I think a lot of it will depend on how things like Starship develop versus the SLS. Like, if Starship a year from now is close to being operational, it's flying orbital flights and things like that. It's like, somebody may look at the SLS program and be like, yeah, you know what? Maybe let's send some money towards something like Starship instead. Nomadic says, you learn more from booms than mathematics. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the whole idea behind SpaceX's thing, is like, you can run simulations like crazy, but your simulations are only as good as the person that planned the simulation, or the people that planned the simulation. Like, the people planning it have to think of all the possible things that could go wrong and the anomalies. If you fly it, you don't have to depend on that. Like, they're like, yeah, we'll just fly it and we'll see what happens. And that's where you get like the real world stuff where you're like, oh, like that, we didn't even think about that. We never simulated that before. That's the kind of stuff and I think that's why SpaceX can iterate so quickly. Why don't they use Merlin? So the Merlin engine is a kerosene engine. Remember, Starship is designed to go to Mars, and not a lot of kerosene available on Mars. So the Raptor engine is a methalox engine, methane and liquid oxygen, both of which could theoretically be generated and produced on Mars using local resources. You need, equipment and things like that to do it. But using local resources from Mars, you could develop methane and liquid oxygen so you could send a Starship home many, many years from now. But that's why they want to use methane. And the Merlin engine is not a methane engine. That is a kerolox engine, kerosene and liquid oxygen. They should rename Boca Chica Boomtown. We could just call it Boomtown. That would be fun. All right. Well, I think I was gonna do some KSP, some Kerbal. I'm kind of debating on it. I think what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna end this stream. Because I'm gonna take a break. I gotta refill my coffee. I think I'm gonna end it right here. But if you're a Patreon or channel member in the top 2 tiers, I'm gonna probably try to reproduce this in Kerbal, and I'll do it on our Discord in the members only section. And we'll make it like an exclusive kind of thing for Patreon, because we haven't done something that was just for members in a while. And I know people that aren't members are probably like, oh, what the. Like, I want to get in on this too. You got to have something that's for the members here. So we do Kerbal. We do Kerbal on stream every once in a while. So I will. I'm sure we'll do that again. But I feel like we got to do something special for our members. And plus that'll give me a chance. I'll go take a break and come back, and then we'll do it on the Discord for our peeps. Not that you guys aren't, people that aren't members, that I still appreciate you guys that are here as well. It's just, we got to keep some things exclusive. So maybe we'll see some of you over there, and if not, you can join our Discord. Our Discord is free. You don't have to be a member for that, and of course I'll be there hanging out, say hello, and then we can talk more in detail there as well. So consider joining the Discord. You can at least hang out and chat with us in between. And yeah, I think that was it. So I guess to recap, we had a flight today for SN11. It did it went okay, I guess. It flew. It made it to apogee. It came down. It did a little bit of a spin on the way down, which was not ideal. And then we had a major anomaly at the landing burn, flight termination system, and kaboom. So, all right. Well, I guess that's it for me. I'm going to wrap up here. Thanks for joining in here this morning for a couple of hours for our nice little Starship Fog Watch 2021. It was a little bit of fun, and I wish we had better views, but we're moving on to SN15. I expect that maybe in like a month's time, and hopefully some of those upgrades will resolve a bunch of issues. I hope. We'll see. All right, thanks everybody for joining. My name's Tori. This is Overlook Horizon. I'll see you next time. Goodbye, everybody.